Hey guys, Cubing Click here. And if you are a cuber, you've probably heard of the terms Roux and CFOP. Those are two common methods of solving the Rubik's Cube. And if you're a beginner, you're probably using the beginner's method.
If you're a beginner, you're probably using the beginner's method.
And that is not going to be the fastest way to solve, not by a long shot. So, you might think that it's time to choose whether you want to go with Roux or CFOP. So it begs to answer the question, which do you choose, CFOP or Roux? So Roux and CFOP are meant for different kinds of people. CFOP has a very lengthy list of algorithms. In fact, let me go get the CFOP manual that came with this GAN Aluminum Pro. It's quite thick, so let's actually unfold it, huh? So, of course, one side is Chinese, so okay, let's see. This is the beginner method, also called the layer by layer method, and it's quite extensive, but only because it's in Chinese and English. Okay, here you go. Here we have the CFOP manual. So here is just the F2L, I think. Yeah, first two letters right there. F2L, you have algorithms. Then this is OLL, and this is PLL. PLL, right there. So obviously there are a lot of algorithms, like a lot. Of course, Roux also has algorithms, but not as many. So CFOP is for people who want to memorize like these algorithms, like set algorithms, whereas Roux is for people who want to figure things out for their own. So here we have the advantages of Roux and CFOP. Now, as I said, Roux is a very intuitive method, meaning you have to figure out how to get from point A to point B. All Roux does is tell you what point B is or where it is, whereas CFOP is very algorithmic, if that's a word. Now, CFOP is, it tells you how to get from point A to point B. It gives you the destination and the directions. So some people may like that, some people might not. And Roux has fewer moves and algorithms, so if you don't like memorizing, maybe you want to go with Roux. But on the other hand, CFOP is faster than Roux, and these two can be a little contradictory. Now, if you have a high TPS, turns per second, you're probably faster with Roux rather than CFOP. But the reason CFOP is faster is because of its algorithms. You don't need to spend time thinking, meaning you don't have to do a lot of thinking to get from the scrambled state to the solved state. So that's also another advantage, is that you don't have to think as much with CFOP. But of course, Roux has very few cube rotations, if any, because of its heavy reliance on the M moves and the R moves. So let's move on to the disadvantages. Now, Roux is intuitive, which means more thinking, whereas CFOP is algorithmic, but that also means more memorizing. So these two can be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on the person who you are. Now, one of the disadvantages of Roux is its heavy reliance on M and R moves. Now, some people might not be able to do M moves that quickly, and if you can't do M moves, then you're probably better off with CFOP, because you'll be using M moves a lot. But if you do stick to Roux, you'll probably get a very fast M move if you practice. When I started using Roux, I had a very weak M move, but now I can do pretty good M moves. Now, another disadvantage of Roux is that it's not very usable on bigger cubes because of the said M moves. If you're on, say, a 5x5, the M move, instead of being a 1 slice, you'll have 3 slices on the 5x5, and that would be pretty hard to execute. Now let's go on to the disadvantages of CFOP. Like I said, it has more memorizing because of the algorithms, but it also has a heavy reliance on inspecting. So if you're not very good at inspecting, maybe you should stick away from CFOP a little, because of the cross that you'll typically do in under a second. If you're good at CFOP, you'll have to do a lot of inspecting. And also cube rotations, they can take away precious seconds off your time. Because of the way CFOP is executed, you'll have to do cube rotations. Okay, let's do a quick recap here. So this was your house. This is your house. And this is the destination you have to go to. Now, there are 2 people over here. One of them is CFOP and one of them is Roux. So they're separate personalities right now. And they both told you to get to this destination. Now let's see how they tell you to do that. CFOP would tell you the exact directions to go there, the shortest path you could take. Now let's take these blue arrows as an algorithm. So say you just finished F2L and you want to finish OLL. Depending on your case, CFOP would have an algorithm to get to OLL, the quickest path. So that's how CFOP would tell you. Now, how would Roux tell you? Roux wouldn't tell you, actually. Roux would just tell you, this is where you have to go, and you can choose any path to take it. So if you're at CMLL over here, the yellow corners, and your destination was the last 6 edges, you could actually take whatever method you wanted to get to the last 6 edges, to solve the last 6 edges. So you could do that. You could go over here. And if you really wanted to, you could go all the way over here, like that. So that's just an example on how you could imagine CFOP and Roux as personalities. So it could help you in deciding whether you want CFOP or Roux. Roux, it would give you just the destination, just point B. And that would mean you have to figure out for yourself how to get from here to there. Now, it's not like there aren't any set moves you can follow. There are moves that you can follow, but in theory, this is what Roux does. But these steps are pretty close together, so you can probably figure it out on your own. So following Roux, you could also do this. Or if you really wanted to, you could go from here all the way here, turn around that corner and come there, and then come down, and then you can come over here. So Roux is a little more intuitive, like I said. And let's just say, as an example, the house, your point A was CMLL. So you just finished doing your yellow corners, and the next step is the last 6 edges. Now, from CMLL to the last 6 edges, you could pick your own path to solve those last 6 edges. So that's how it would go, because there are no set algorithms for that. So those are the advantages of CFOP and Roux, and you can probably decide for yourself right now whether you want to follow CFOP or if you want to follow Roux. If you like memorization, then CFOP is for you. If you want to think for yourself, then I guess Roux is for you. So that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, leave a like, maybe subscribe. Helps out a ton. And this is Cuban Cluck, and see you next time.